Hello and welcome to our Meet the Candidate special. I'm Brett Poirier, the General Manager here at Medfield TV. We are honored to have state Senate candidates come in, and we get to know them a little bit, and it's the benefit of Medfield that gets to see it. Today we sit down with Harry Brousaides. Harry, thanks so much for coming in today.
My pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, this is just a lighter interview. We want to kind of get to know you a little bit. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Where'd you come from, and where'd you go to school?
Absolutely. So I was born in West Roxbury, 1966, so I'm 50 years old. In 72, we moved to Dedham into a two-family. We came from one two-family into another two-family. Grew up in a room with 2 bunk beds and another bed, so three boys in one room. And, you know, grew up in Dedham, had a great life. You know, one of my talking points has always been the experience I had during the summers at Park and Rec Department in Dedham, and it was a free service that offered through the town before Prop 2.5 came around, and just had a great childhood. Everything that you see in the movies that are coming out now, where, you know, we'd get up in the morning, get on a bike with a fishing pole and a baseball glove, and wouldn't come back till the lights were on, the street lights, you know. So it was a great life, and you know, things have changed a lot, but, you know, grew up in Dedham, was lucky enough to go to Catholic Memorial for high school. Great learning experience. You know, a lot of Catholic teaching there, and the brothers really put you in order and got you to get your homework done. And that's something I needed back then as a young kid. And that got me off to college, where I went to Fitchburg State, majored in business, got a BS in business administration there. And you know, through growing up as well, then I started my career and bought a property in Norwood. Had that for a couple years, and then settled in Walpole in 1999, and I've been there ever since.
And now, actually, interesting thing is you're actually involved a little bit with the Walpole Access Station. You have a show. You have a show there.
Sure. So I'm the president of the Walpole Chamber of Commerce, and I've been involved with the chamber for about 5 or 6 years. This is my 3rd year as president. And about a little over a year ago, I came up with the idea of hosting a show on Walpole Media TV, and it's called Walpole Business Spotlight TV. And basically, I bring in local business owners, sales professionals, entrepreneurs, and try to interview them so they can get their word out as far as who they are, what they do, and how they can be of service to the community. And our general audience gets to learn more about them and gets to know, like, and trust them, and, you know, use their services.
You know, it's always the thing that I talk about with the access stations is we have an awesome opportunity to have those types of shows and situations where people can come on and build that trust and build that relationship. So that's awesome to hear that you're a part of that. Now, I've asked this question to all of our candidates, and I've gotten a different answer every time, is what does a state senator do? What is it that you see that the job is?
Well, I think there's the formal duty of a state senator, which is when you go into the State House and General Court and you're voting on whatever issues or laws that are on the books. Or you're getting in there and trying to work with different people to get things done. I think that's a small part of the job. The biggest part of the job that, of course, you've heard in the other interviews is getting out in the community, making relationships, and finding out exactly what your constituents need so they can thrive and live better lives.
So how do you think that you're going to be able to connect with people that way? What's going to be your means to connect and communicate?
Sure. Well, I think over the last about 5 to 6 years now, I've been volunteering my time and my services to the community, whether it be, I helped out the Medfield Park and Rec Department to rejuvenate their road race in 5K so they could get more money in, so they could provide more services to the kids here in Medfield. After that was kind of a success, I then moved my sights to Walpole and found out there was a Chamber of Commerce. In Walpole, it's a little unique because we're one chamber, one town. Usually it's 5 or 6 towns. And I got involved with that, started making suggestions, and typically that was, all right, go, you run with that, you start helping that or doing that. And you know, I became the membership ambassador and started to grow the chamber. One thing that I've learned along the way, and it's helped me in business, but it's really helped me help others, is I picked up a book. It was called How to Network with Millionaires. And one of the biggest parts of the book was to go out there and sincerely help other people. And through the laws of reciprocity, things will come back to you. And a great opening line for that was going into businesses more as a chamber ambassador and saying, hello, John, how you doing today? How can I help you? What do you need? And so many of these owners were like blown back. What? You're not here to sell me anything? And no, I'm here sincerely to help you grow your business. If you grow and you succeed, there might be a chance you'll come back to me and ask me what I do and my services, because I do help business owners, but I'm sincerely here to help you. And going out in the community and helping business owners and salespeople connect has really been, I think, the next stepping stone to where I'm gravitating towards as far as the state senator.
It certainly seems like a connection that you've made is there's a certain job that you have and you're finding an avenue to help people through that job. Is that kind of the connection that you're building there with people?
Yeah, well, I definitely bring a different approach to the state Senate seat. I am definitely coming from the business side of the world. And in my own business practice and for my clients and my business owners, I have 3 rules of financial success. It's protection, financial efficiency, and retirement income planning. Those 3 rules can actually dovetail right into the needs of our business owners and our community in general. I mean, so many of our baby boomers now that are starting to get ready for retirement are nowhere close to where they need to be. And they've relied on Wall Street, they've relied on the government to try to help them or provide them for what they're going to need, and it's not going to be anything close. You know, if you ever were to look at your Social Security statement, there's asterisks on there, and it says, this is probably going to not be what you need to survive in retirement. And that, another caveat to that is, like they talk about, you should go out there and get long-term care insurance to protect you in case something happens. And this is the stuff that people are really, not brainwashed, but just blindfolded to the belief that Wall Street will bail us all out, the government will bail us all out. That's not the case. You need to be in control of your own finances, in control of your own future, and have a plan. And that's exactly what I want to bring to our constituents through the forms of financial education, but also in the forms of that type of business representation at the State House.
My next question is, you kind of have highlighted all your experiences, what has built to this point, but why is it that you decided to run for this office?
Well, you know, it seems like I've been on this staircase continually, probably for the last 8 years. You know, I've been in business for myself for about 25 years. I'm a senior loan officer for a mortgage company. I've been doing that for 25 years. I was doing that for about 4 or 5 years and then became owner of that business and started to grow that business. 2008, I transitioned to become a financial representative as well, because I kind of learned that I was doing so many other financial things for my clients. Not that I was their attorney or their CPA, but I was directing them in the right path. And I said, geez, I need to help them more. I'm more than just a rate on a mortgage. So I started to get more into the education of financial planning, protection through insurance, etc. And as I started to step back and then help more people in the community, you know, they kept propping me up, you know, whether it was a networking group that I was involved with. I was the 16th member. I helped grow it to a little over 50. They made me president. You know, when I was with the Walpole Chamber, I and a couple other people were very instrumental in rejuvenating the chamber from about 40 or 50 members up to over 160. And then they made me president. As president, I do have a seat on the Economic Development Committee in Walpole, and I start to make suggestions and they start to move me up the ladder. And it's just something where people start to see my capabilities or my commitment. They just keep pushing me up. And through a lot of the work that I did in the community of Walpole, people said, you know, you need to go help us out more. And whether it's me going to town hall and representing business owners because there was a temporary parking issue that needed to be solved, or helping another business owner with a signage issue in Walpole, just some of the little things. It's just really, it makes me feel great, but it's helping them, and it's just continued to prop me up to the point where people said, you need to help us more, you need to run for this seat or that seat. And I just recently became a town meeting member in Walpole, and that really got my juices flowing, because you were out there, I was talking to people, and when they listened to me, they said, we need you in there, we need a different person, we need a different voice, a different style, we're sick of the same old here. And again, if I was to get in, and I believe I do have a good chance to win this election, I'll be like the 6th or 7th Republican out of 40, and there'll be an uphill battle. And I don't think too many people there will be happy to see me when I walk in those doors, because I'm going to be a fighter and a bulldog, and I'll fight for the rights of our towns in our territory here, and that will be the end-all be-all.
That's fantastic. So maybe the most important question of the day is, why should people vote for you? Why are they going to be casting their vote for you?
Well, I think when we look at the other candidates here in the election, a good majority of them are already kind of connected into the government establishment that's already here. So it's more of the status quo, okay? I'm an outsider, I'm an outliner, I'm a different type of candidate. I come from the business community. Over the last 5 or 6 years, I've been doing more work and volunteering more of my time in the community and for businesses and being the advocate for those people than the rest of our candidates. They've been off doing their jobs, whether that be in the, working for another state rep or something, or working for another state employer. So I've been out there, and I also established alliances with the Ponset Valley Chamber of Commerce, the United Regional Chamber of Commerce, things that were unheard of in the past because they were fighting each other. And I just said, this makes absolutely no sense. Let's bring everybody together. Let's work together. The more people that are working together and sharing business and ideas, the more we're going to all prosper. And that started to happen. So I think that definitely sets me apart from the rest of the candidates. I've already been on the street, in these offices with our business owners, in the kitchen tables through my practice, protecting my clients. I've been there, I've been doing that, and I want to continue to do that.
Now, if you notice, I hold this question back because I want people to get to know you first before they kind of cast judgment based on what party you are. But what party is it that you're running as, and then why do you feel that you fit into that party?
Well, I'm running as a Republican, and the core values of the Republican Party are definitely where I stand. Whether it be lower taxes is usually the typical thing that first comes out. And not to say that, we need to always have lower taxes. I mean, we're already paying a good amount. But I think we can kind of set that bar. I don't think we have to keep increasing taxes. Taxes where they are today are probably at a sustainable level, but we have to be more efficient with our tax dollars. Like I said with my 3 rules of financial success, number 2 is financial efficiency. People want us to talk about, fiscal conservative. Well, I like to call myself a fiscal efficiency expert. When I get into a business owner or a personal person's cash flow or budget, I'm able to get in there, get rid of the waste, and then redeploy those dollars in something that really works, things that have tax advantages, things that protect a family or a business owner, or things that will be used for retirement income planning. Same thing when it comes to our budget. Let's get in there, let's get rid of the waste, and let's use some of those dollars to either support more economic development or to help the people in need and the people that are deserving of our need.
Now, we're in a unique situation where the person running hasn't been in the office yet, so no one actually has experience sitting in this chair. What do you think people should be looking for in the candidates? What's the qualities that they should be looking for in these candidates? Why should they pick and choose who to vote for?
Sure. Well, first, without being a wise guy, I don't think you need a rocket scientist in there. Okay. I think people that have the business intellect or business aptitude when it comes to, again, running something efficiently is the first and foremost when it comes to what you need to do a good job. Being somebody that can walk around and meet people and enjoy meeting people, I think is a big part of it too. But I've been the quintessential middleman my whole career. As a salesperson, whether it was selling cars when I first got out of college, to being in banking for 4 years, and then a mortgage broker, and then a financial representative, I'm always the guy in the middle. And my job is to really listen and understand what my clients' real needs are, educate them to the point where sometimes that's really not what they want. It wasn't this 30-second commercial or internet pop-up ad that gave them the idea of what they really should have. I need to educate them and put them on the right path. And then I go out to the different service providers or wholesalers and bring them that product. So then now they're in a great place. And that's the same thing I think that can happen with the responsibilities of a state senator.
It's going to be hard to say because obviously you haven't been there yet, but the benchmark everyone always sets is the first 100 days. Everyone always looks at that. What is it that you think your first 100 days in this office is going to be like?
Well, I think a big part of that is the learning the lay of the land, to get in there and find out what the procedure is, get in there and find out who your staff might already be, or who you need to replace. With any type of business or leadership role, it's really never about me and my accomplishments. It will be about the people that are working with me. So delegating specific duties and roles upon people that will also succeed will bring us all together and get us to the common goal.
Now, again, why do you think you're the best candidate for this position?
Again, you know, number one, me not coming from any type of political career, I think is something or the trend that a lot of our voters are looking for. You know, they want something different. They want a different voice. They want change. I walk into this position owing nobody anything. I'm not going to be doing any favors for anybody. My job is to go in there and fight for our district and really work that angle of economic development, reducing regulations on small and medium-sized businesses, getting more education out there for the individuals for financial success. And again, the biggest thing there is, again, I don't have any connections with the political parties, so I'm going to go in there and just fight for what we need, and that's it, and get the job done, and get back out and get out to our territory.
That's fantastic news for everyone here. So now we're done with kind of the hard questions here. We'll loosen it up, lighten up this interview a little bit. We're going to go with quick answers back and forth, just so people can kind of get to know who you are a little bit outside of the suit. So, right off the bat is, what's your favorite food?
You know, I watched a couple interviews before I came here that you've done, and that was a hard question. But my go-to answer is chicken parm. You know,
some good old chicken parm.
I'm Italian and Greek. I'm a little bit more of a mixed breed, Italian, Greek. I have some English blue blood, and what's the other? That's it.
Yeah, mixed bag.
Yeah.
What's your favorite sport to watch?
Another good question. There's two different outliners on that. You know, live is one thing and TV is another. And I think live is an NHL playoff game, without a doubt. And watching, it's probably best to watch football on TV because you get all the stats and the angles and the replays. So that's my answer on that.
I actually totally agree with you. I think when you go to a hockey game, there's no experience like a hockey game. Mm-hmm. But then watching it on TV, no one does a better production than the NFL. So correct. I think I absolutely agree with you there. Your favorite sport to play?
Well, growing up, I played a lot of sports, every sport. Something that, you know, again, I might want to try to push forward a little bit through education through the schools. But, you know, so many times now kids are just gravitating to one sport and one sport only, and they're playing it all year round. That's also been getting to the point where kids are getting injuries because they're pitching or all year round or something. But so again, I grew up in the 70s and 80s where we played all sports. But the sport I was best in was hockey, probably. I played that for the longest. Ended up going to CM and didn't make the team because they were just elite back then. They still are pretty good. Where if I had gone to Dedham High, I think I would have made the team pretty easily. But so my hockey career basically kind of stopped in high school. I played a little bit more throughout the years. Now I just do golf, coach basketball for my girls. And just to mention, I'm married and I've got 3 girls as well. One's in college right now, second year. One's at Walpole High, sophomore, and my little one is 9, starting 4th grade.
Oh, that's great. Mm-hmm. What do you play any instruments?
I do not. I never have. You know, I think I might have done the recorder in elementary school, and that's where it ended. Don't have an inkling for any of the instruments, but I love music.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, in college I was studying elementary ed, so we had to take a music class, and I actually did have to relearn the recorder. So as an adult, there I was playing the recorder. Do you have any hidden talents?
Not really. I can juggle a little bit. That's about it. Too busy.
But you can't juggle, though.
I can do 3 balls pretty good.
That's actually pretty good. What's your most used social media site?
Definitely Facebook. You know, I'm 50, and our age group of like 40 to 60 are Facebook. You know, I love the Bill Belichick quote of like, is it Snap Twit or Twitter Snap, or I don't even know. Like I'm on Twitter, I think I'm on Instagram, but I have no idea how to do anything with those. But Facebook I'm pretty good at.
What's so give yourself a plug. What's the Facebook page? What do you guys?
Yeah, so the Facebook page, I've got my own personal page and a couple other business ones, but the one for this is Harry Brousaides for State Senate.
And now, what's your favorite team?
Professional team?
Professional team, yep.
I would say the Red Sox still. You know, growing up in the 70s and watching, I missed the 67 miracle year. I was only 2, I think. But 75, I was like 7 or 8. And that World Series was incredible. I was watching Carlton Fisk in Game 6 as like a 9-year-old, which I'll never forget. So live and die with the Red Sox. Ended up having season tickets right when they signed Manny Ramirez. And so I got to see the 03 team, the 07 team, 04 team, 07 team, and finally they won at home for 2013, and I was there for that. So without a doubt, Red Sox live and breed. And but I love the Patriots. I love the Sox. I watch everything.
Yeah. What's your? It's hard not to watch everything in New England, but what's your favorite holiday?
Halloween.
Really?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about it?
Well, you know, you got Thanksgiving and Christmas. There's a lot of commitment. There's a lot of pressure, a lot of family, and not every one of those holidays ends up being the best with drama and stuff. You know, Halloween it's just relaxed. You put on a costume, you have fun. You go to a party. I used to host a party at my house. We used to have like 50 or 60 people. We had a great time, and I hope to do that again sometime soon. But it's just such a great, fun holiday. And again, the candy. You know, I like the candy.
What's the last thing you read?
Great question. And I did some research because when I was on vacation in Vermont, I went to one of those like old school bookstores up in not Vermont, the Berkshires, and I was looking around. I was looking for a political book, and the book that I've been reading, it's called "If You Can Keep It," and it's by Eric Matakis. And I just want to give you a couple excerpts of why this is so cool.
Yeah.
Basically, it has a lot to do with the idea of government and we the people. And one of the greatest quotes out of this book, and why it's titled this, when Benjamin Franklin was coming out of the meeting, when they basically had finished up the Constitution, there was a woman that stopped him and said, a little sarcastically said, "Well, doctor, what do we got, a republic or a monarchy?" And his reply was, "A republic, if you can keep it." And that's something that rings true to today. And it's another reason why I'm really wanting to get into this role. Just think of it, when we look at our number of people that we have in Medfield or Walpole, if Walpole has 22,000 people, we have about 18,000 or 17,000 registered voters. Even on a presidential election, you're lucky to get 30 to 40%, okay? And that's the problem that we're continuing to see. My job with the chamber and everything else that I've done in the community is to be a community organizer and get everybody out, get people together. I don't really mind where you are on a different issue. We're all going to disagree, but we can also come together and meet in the middle somewhere so everybody walks away happy. And the biggest part of that, though, and the part of this book, though, is we have to get out there. We have to get involved. I hope to really get more and more people out there, higher voter results as far as people getting to the polls. Just get people involved. The simplest thing I see on Facebook sometimes is like, "Oh, what's going on downtown? There's some band is setting up." And I'm like, "Where have you been for the last 3 years?" And I get it. People want to go to work, come home, and just tune out. But you know what? That's not going to work. This is the way our country works, by getting people involved, getting out there, helping other people. And that will get us on the road to success. If we want to keep our democracy or our republic, that's what we need to do. We need to get more people involved.
Absolutely, yeah. This, I think, is the hardest question, is describe yourself in 3 words.
Well, it's kind of the slogan of my campaign. It's back in business. I've always been about business. My approach to my solution to a lot of the problems is money. It is kind of unfortunate, but money makes the world go round, and money is happiness. I was doing a course or a class for the seniors at the Norfolk Aggie School, and they were just like, "What? Really? Is that what all life is about?" And all right, it isn't. Life is about family, life is about happiness, but to get a lot of those things, it does take money. And if we can get or develop more economic development, more infrastructure, get more regulation out of the business owner's way so they can expand their businesses and hire more people, we can have more higher paying jobs in our counties so people can enjoy their life. And again, money can be used through that tax base to solve our problems versus just continually putting it on the backs of our seniors and our residents on real estate taxes.
What's your favorite vacation spot?
I really don't have one. I don't really go away a lot. You know, my wife is a big traveler. She's been all over the world. She's from England. That's my wife, Tracy. We've been married for, this will be our 18th year, no, 17th year.
Congratulations.
And, thank you. And she's been all over the world. And I say, yeah, I've been to Florida 7 times and Montreal 6, you know. But I've been all throughout New England. I've been to other places. I used to follow the Patriots on away games. So I've been around the country a lot. But I guess I'd have to say the Cape has been my normal destination, but I'm starting to gravitate more out to the woods in Vermont, New Hampshire, the Berkshires. When I was out in the Berkshires, I actually did mountain climbing with my 2 younger girls, and you know, more hiking. I wasn't on the cliff, you know, and that was strenuous, may I say, at the very least. I got to get in better shape for that, but I want to get more out in the woods and enjoy the environment because I never had.
What sports or activities did you do in high school?
I played soccer in high school because I got cut from the high school team, didn't make the team. So I played soccer and tennis.
Great. The first person you thank if you win?
I'd like to thank my family first for supporting me and, you know, covering for me at the house when I'm out campaigning and doing everything else I need to do. But the one, that would be one, and 1A would be my campaign manager, Mark Resnick, who's doing a tremendous job, and my campaign committee and everybody that's dedicated to put us through.
If you could have dinner with anybody in the world, who would it be?
Yeah, another great question. I know a lot of people have said their wives, and that's a great answer. I think somebody that I definitely, as I walk into politics, I truly look up to and would love to have dinner or lunch with is Tip O'Neill. You know, growing up, I came from a blue-collar family, as many of us did. A lot of our dads and moms were either working in factories or working in the trades, and they all worked their butt off to make us get to college and get to that next level. And, you know, my family is a Democratic family, and I think the Democrats have a lot of good ideas. I think they've kind of lost their way a little bit. And I think the Republicans, to a certain extent, may have as well. But I think their core issues are a little bit more where I sit. But back to the Tip O'Neill thing, he was that quintessential middleman again, right? He was able to work both sides of the aisle and get things done. Ronald Reagan loved Tip O'Neill. And boy, can you imagine if the President of the United States was able to say that of the minority leader and just be great friends and have a beer and understand that there are 2 different sides to every issue, but they got together and made things happen. I grew up in the 80s, and that was a great time to grow up. There was prosperity, there was growth, there was high-paying jobs, everybody was happy, there was no war really. We had a couple events around the world, but it was just a great time to live, and it just shows you where we've come. You know, we've got to get back together to working together. I mean, come on, guys. Let's just get along.
Absolutely. And before we get you out of the hot seat, we're going to give you one more chance to say it. Why should people vote for you?
Well, at the end of the day, I think when people look at our resumes and our work experience and our most recent history, I'm the best man for the job. I've been doing the things on the ground for the last 5 or 6 years that the others have not been doing. I think some of the others are connected into the establishment where I am not. You know, in the last presidential election, whether or not you like Donald Trump or not, most people voted for a different way versus the man. And that's where I'm offering our counties, Bristol and Norfolk County. I'm a different person. I'm going to look at this in a different way. I'm going to look at this as a business. I'm going to make those common sense business decisions to make things happen. And I'm my own man. You know, I'm 50 years old. I'm at that great point in my life where I've built a successful business. I don't need to use this position or this role as a stepping stone to another role. You know, I would say 80, 90% of most politicians get in there, and next thing you know, they're working at some corporate level job, or they're a board of director somewhere making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Why? Because they went in there, they did favors for people and lobbyists, and then they got out. My job is to go in there. As far as my political aspirations go, I would think this would be the level I would go to. Never been in politics, would love to represent where I've grown up, where I live, where I retire, where I'll die, where my kids will live, and make that the best place possible for all of us. And I'd like to stay in that seat for as long as possible, as long as we're continuing to grow and change things for the better.
That's fantastic. Harry Brousaides, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Senate candidate for this area. Thank you guys for watching, and catch us next time.
Me not coming from any type of political career, I think is something or the trend that a lot of our voters are looking for. You know, they want something different. They want a different voice. They want change. I walk into this position owing nobody anything. I'm not going to be doing any favors for anybody. My job is to go in there and fight for our district and really work that angle of economic development, reducing regulations on small and medium-sized businesses, getting more education out there for the individuals for financial success. And again, the biggest thing there is, again, I don't have any connections with the political parties, so I'm going to go in there and just fight for what we need, and that's it, and get the job done, and get back out and get out to our territory.